and I saw Floyd Mayweather Jr. teaching his son how to box. And it was great because the way that he was actually teaching his son, was from a very technical standpoint. The way that you really, when you're learning how to box, from a fundamental standpoint, how you would go about it. And it just looked good for many reasons. I mean, obviously it's always good to see a father and son doing something together, no matter who they are. Just, watching that, also watching Floyd as a teacher. And one of the things that it kind of made me wonder, and part of this was with the passing of his uncle, longtime trainer, former world champion, Roger, the original Black Mamba Mayweather, right? I wonder, is Floyd's career officially over, right? We'd seen him training, we'd seen him hinting about something big in 2020. Is it possible that maybe Floyd could be a great trainer? But is Floyd official? I know he said he's retired. I've been one to echo those remarks to people that say he's coming back. I'm like, he's not fighting again. But with everything that's going on right now, and Father Time, right? Only person that's undefeated. Is Floyd officially done?
I feel like there's a lot going on right now with Floyd, just on so many levels. And this is not, and it's weird because Floyd is very much a control freak. I think everybody kind of knows that. Floyd likes to be in your consciousness, and Floyd likes to be the topic of discussion, but he likes to do that under his own terms. And right now, the things that are happening in his life are not on his own terms. And I think that may have something to do with why you're hearing him talk less right now than you normally would, especially for the amount of press that he's occupying right now. So I totally think that what's happening right now with the pandemic, with his uncle, drastically, decreases the chances that he'll ever fight again. I always thought that was kind of shaky anyway, just like you, but this brings a level of realness to it. So just for people who, and I'm not trying to create a path to sympathy for Floyd. He's a difficult guy to do that for sometimes, right? Or all the time. But just to put into perspective, this has been a crazy year for Floyd Mayweather. It's been a crazy year for everybody. But there's certain people, if you really take a look back, you're like, whoa, you've had an eventful year, good or bad, right? So Floyd lost his uncle, who everybody knows he makes no bones about how close they were. You can tell what that is. So it's almost difficult to quantify what that loss is meaning or has meant to him in a very just totally strange, odd, don't even know how to touch it, how to approach it kind of a way. The mother of his children, Josie Harris, has passed away. And I believe this was maybe 2 or 3 weeks before Roger passed. He seemed to be emotionally impacted by it, but you hesitate to talk about how that works because she is the person who he accused him of the domestic violence, of the battering that ended up with him doing time. And then now recently, in the last 4 days, his daughter is trending all over social media she got arrested 3 days ago, I believe it was now, for stabbing the female acquaintance or female companion of rapper NBA Youngboy, who she has been dating. She's been torn apart on social media for sticking by this young man, despite his promiscuity and all sorts of things that are going on. She went to jail. The girl was pregnant that she stabbed, and she was in critical condition a day or two after the stabbing. And so she gets out of jail, she gets bonded out. NBA Youngboy does a video. He goes live on a video and he's got her there. It's a profane, just ridiculous rant. And in the rant, he refers to Floyd as her BA, and I'm censoring myself, bitch ass dad, while she's sitting there. And she's there. And if you look at her, and I'm gonna tap into some other expertise that I've acquired in my life, having worked with troubled youth. The look in her face is just a totally glazed, just disconnected from reality look. Now, everybody knows that Floyd is no angel. And I totally believe in the concept of reap what you sow and that sort of thing. But I also am a human being, and I think about other human beings, even when they've been dastardly. And I just look at Floyd and I'm like, as a human being, as a nephew, as a father, I'll say tough, but I know some people won't be comfortable with that because we're talking about Floyd, somebody who's very tough to feel sympathetic for some people. But man, this is a heck of a 2 to 3 week period right now to have to, to be going through. And like I said, Floyd likes to be the spotlight. He likes to be on your mind, but not like this, I'm sure. And it's nasty, man. So all of this stuff that's going on, and then we're talking about, is he going to possibly come back and fight? Yeah, to me, see, all of the games and stuff that Floyd plays, foot in, 1 foot out, that's all on his terms. He gets to dictate that. He gets to play with your mind. He gets to dictate the headlines. But he doesn't like it when he's in these headlines and he doesn't have any control. And that's what these situations represent. And I'm sorry, I mean, you got to eat your good with your bad. But I mean, I am, as a human being, I kind of feel like just makes you go, ooh. I don't know. Maybe some people would have a hard time relating to that because they say, well, hey, he made his bed. He's got to lay in it. There's many of the bad things or whatever things that he's done. Da, 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 da. Man, it's tough. It's a tough pill. It's a tough group of pills to swallow, in my opinion. So,
well, it kind of reminds me of a story that Todd DeBuff, the president of Top Rank, told me when just over a year ago I brought Xander Zayas in to sign his contract. Mm-hmm. And he was talking to Xander, and he was recalling the story about how young Floyd Mayweather, early in his career, just wanted to fight all the time. He just was very disciplined, very serious about his craft, and he wanted to stay active, and he wanted to fight. And he said to Todd one day, he relayed this message to us in his office. He said that Floyd just is a different person when he's in between those ropes. It's his home. It's his comfort. It's where he feels safe. It's where he feels good, where he feels happy. And so maybe that video on Twitter of him training his son and being where he loves to be was a bit of escape from a lot of tragedy that's been happening to him lately.
And the other thing is, you don't know when that video was shot because Floyd has been notorious for posting video at different times,
But maybe it's not that purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The meaning.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the meaning behind it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to kick someone when they're down.
Yeah.
I like to talk about what goes on in between the ropes. Mm-hmm. I have sympathy for people that lose people. I have sympathy and empathy, as I know you're a very spiritual person. And I know you can understand that as well. So, challenging, tough, regardless of what you think of someone's persona in their professional life, and even, what's reported doesn't necessarily mean what's true. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I've seen that because I've met plenty of people in this game for so long that what you see on the outside is not really what you see on the inside. It's right. Somewhat of that public act, and it plays into a lot of things. And so, now's not the time to judge, in my opinion, because obviously, people go through stuff. We're having a tough time as a world right now, but,
and that's so crazy. Everything I laid out.
Yeah. And
in a pandemic.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, the pandemic is tough for everybody, but imagine going through a tough time that would have been tough in any era or any time period, but also you got a shelter in place. It's kind of tough. So It is what it is. But I am, praying for Floyd and his family and hoping that things work out as best as possible for him. So, it's like I said, it's a couple tough pills to swallow.